hope you're all doing well. It's good to have you here again.
Hello.
And my little daughter, Miss Latoya, is here also. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome once again to the Lady Lawyer channel. I thank you that you keep coming back. And I thank you that you have been showing your love and your support, subscribing to this channel, sharing the videos, liking them, putting your comments. I really appreciate all of this. And I want to ask you once again, if you have not subscribed, kindly do so. Kindly like, kindly share this video. Please click the notification bell so that when I post the video, you will be notified by YouTube. Thank you very much. Today, I'm telling you a story of how my bag took a walk on the first day of work. So this was a very dramatic experience, dramatic day of my life. I must give a little bit of background. I consider myself to be somebody who is quite careful. I don't lose anything as far as I know. I remember the first time I lost something when I was in the university. I actually was the class representative and I lost some money that had been, that people paid for something. I don't remember now. And I remember specifically going to my dad's office and crying about, oh, this money was stolen from my hostel. And my dad looked at me and he was like, well, I'm not going to pay for your carelessness. And he just left me alone. So I remember that experience was very hard for me. It was such a bitter pill to swallow because I essentially had to pay that money back from my own pocket money. So since that time, I am actually very careful with my things. So leads me to this story. I got this really nice job. I was very excited. When I got the job, I bought myself this new bag, which was to be my big girl, bag, a backpack, a Coach backpack, very beautiful, a bit expensive, not a bit, actually, quite expensive. And this was going to be my new work bag. So on the day of this incident, I put everything, I go to start work, first day on the job. I went to the office, introduced to everybody, my onboarding started. And then sometime in the afternoon, we had a meeting. This was the meeting of everybody in the department. So we had this meeting and we went into the conference room for the meeting. The interesting thing about this office is that it's some sort of open office. So it was not just our organization that was using the office, which meant that you had people you didn't know come in and out, basically. But it was fine. We went into the meeting. We had this meeting. Everybody welcomed me. I was very happy to be there. Came out of the meeting about an hour later. I was working at the desk. And then I remember that I needed, I wanted to pick maybe a bar of chocolates from my bag. So I looked under the table where I kept my bag, and my bag was not there. So initially I was like, wait, what's going on here? I looked again, and then I stood up and I told the person sitting opposite me, like, my bag is not here. And everybody started panicking, like, what's going on? How can a bag be here now? And I mean, just about an hour before, because I remember specifically taking something out of the bag. And suddenly we could not find the bag again. And I remember, as we were having this conversation back and forth, a few people said, oh, I noticed that backpack because it's very striking and it's very beautiful. So people actually noticed the bag. And so when I said, oh, my bag is missing, everybody became concerned. The interesting thing is when we went in for that meeting, we assume now that that was when the bag was stolen. There were phones on the table. Somebody actually had a wallet on the table, but my bag, which was under the table, somehow became the one that was taken away. In my bag, I had my wallet, I had my makeup purse, I had my chargers, my hairpiece, like literally everything. Till now, I'm still remembering things that were in the bag that I did not remember immediately. So people were like, this is, everybody started running around. What can we do? Somebody suggested, you know what? Maybe you go out in the neighborhood and try to look around. Meanwhile, this neighborhood is a little bit kind of shady. Well, I wouldn't say shady. It's this neighborhood where a lot of EP people live. So the tendency for things to get missing was a bit higher than normal. So, and there's a lake around the neighborhood. Somebody said, you know what, walk around the edge of the lake, and maybe it was somebody who is a stoner that took it, they will probably take out money from the wallet and throw everything else away. But you can't say that for like a regular, you can say that for a regular bag, but for something that's fairly expensive, perhaps if the person notices, they may also want to sell it. So the question of throwing it away was probably not there. So myself and a colleague got out and we started running around, panicking, looking for the bag. We couldn't find anything. I got back to the office and somebody was like, you know what, you have to report to the police. So we had to report to the police, made the police report, and the bag was still nowhere to be found. All through that day and the night and the next day, I had to start checking on eBay to see if anybody was selling that type of bag. It was quite insane. I had to go to the phone bureau where, you know, if anything is missing in the city, you would usually have it. I mean, if somebody finds something, excuse me, they would take it to. So I went there and they said, oh, it's too early. Maybe come back in about 2 weeks. And if anybody has found something, we'll be able to give it to you if you can recognize it. So here I was, the key to my apartment, the key to my university office, you know, all my personal effects, all my fine girl things on my first day at work, taken away. I went to work with a nice backpack. I came back home with a duffel bag where I put in my laptop because somebody stole my bag. I just want to, honestly, I think that if you live in any country where insurance is a thing, you should consider getting your properties insured, apart from health insurance and all. This is something that has saved me in a way. So when I thought about it again, a friend said, you know what, why don't you ask your insurance company? And then I went to my insurance company and asked, what are my options? So it turns out that my own properties are not insured in that sense. So if I lose my thing, it's not insured. But if I lose somebody else's things in my possession, one of my insurance policies covers it. I also have insurance policies, for example, for my home content. So the things in my house, in my flat are insured. So if anything happens to anything in my flat, I have insurance that covers it. I have different types of insurance. I also have insurance for lawsuits, for example. So if you sue me, I'm not going to be worried about money to pay for it. Anyway, that's an aside. So I spoke to the insurance broker. This is what has happened. And eventually, this took about a month also. That's another story. Eventually, they paid me something which barely covered the cost of my bag. But at least I was glad to get something. So this experience was quite dramatic. I became known as the girl whose bag was stolen on the first day at work. And other people came and they were telling them about, oh, somebody stole a bag in this office. And they're like, oh, that had never happened before. And they're like, that's the girl. It took a while and I was being described as that girl whose bag was stolen on the first day of work. And I was like, what attracted this bloody thief to me? Interestingly, 2 days after I was off on that day and I was home, somebody sent me a LinkedIn message and was like, hi, Victoria, my parents found a wallet. That night, I showed my husband and I screamed by the edge of the same lake, which we had walked around and didn't find anything. And my parents found a wallet and your name was all over because all your cards were inside. And if you like to come tomorrow and get it. So basically, this individual lived close to my office. His parents were taking a walk that evening and they found my wallet. And all my cards, my bank cards from Nigeria, from Germany, my health insurance card, my passport photograph. I also had a collection of notes. I had been collecting notes for several years from different countries of the world. So even if I didn't go there, my friends went to this country, I'll ask them for like the smallest denomination. So I had this collection that was growing for at least I had about 20 from like 20 countries of the world, you know, of places I'd never been before. But it was exciting to me. I had been collecting it. My collection of notes was stolen. That didn't even, I'm like... But I was glad to get all my cards back. I got all my health insurance card, all my bank cards. Immediately that happened, I had cancelled all my bank cards. But I was able to lift the blockade that I did fairly easily. You know, when I got that wallet back, I was like, okay. I mean, this would have been a pain to replace. but I was glad to get it back. But my bag till today took a walk. My everything, I had perfumes, I had stuff, a lot of stuff in the bag. Until now, I still remember, maybe I just remember something. I'm like, it was in my bag. So it was quite a traumatic experience, and it took me a while to actually get over it. I'm not even sure that I've completely gotten over it. I really don't think so. Have you had anything stolen from you before? Or have you had any kind of dramatic workplace experience? How did you deal with it? I hope you don't have an experience like mine. I really, really hope so. I don't even pray that kind of experience for my enemies. Let's talk about if you have had any such dramatic experiences, and let's share a laugh over it. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so on your way out and share and like this video. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye.